Welcome to Archangel Revelations and Prophecies 444. I'm Gat, your host. Okay, this will be the second order. What you see is 3 charts. The user wanted to get their natal chart updated, which we did. And she wants to compare it to 2 other people. So you see the 3 charts. That's what you're looking at. So now we'll be going into the first male and just to identify him so she'll know who it is. It would be B, because she'll have a B and a C, and she should know what that means. All right, so we're going to do B first. Let me just make sure. I want to make sure I did B. Yeah. Yep. All right. All righty. His ascendant is Virgo with Kira's retrograde. So as a Virgo, he's good at finding. He's good with details, deep, analytical, and of course your ascendant is your rising sign, deep, analytical. But they can be somewhat of a perfectionist, so that can be not good because the world's not perfect. Not that we want to use that for an excuse, but in a relationship, the world's just not perfect. And sometimes Virgos can be kind of critical, but they can't really take it if you respond. So have to be careful. But they're all about health. They're all about home and service. So the first house is ruled by Aries. And right now the sun should be in Aries. And somehow they have a Kira's retrograde. So let's look that up. Let's just make sure and take a look at that. Now I'm at the chart on the left. And that'll be on your left as well. My left. Yeah, if you're both looking at the screen, it should be both of our lefts. Alright. So we're going to try to find Kira's. Okay, here we are. Kira's retrograde. So Kira's retrograde, we're going to do it in Virgo. All right, so let's just read, because they said that I read Curious retrograde in Virgo, but they kind of gave you an explanation that is basically a natal retrograde, like just a regular retrograde. We need not a natal, a transit retrograde they gave, which can be like any space chart. We need a natal retrograde, like if you're born with Curious, and they didn't give that, so. That the definition they gave does not apply there, and I made sure that's why I double checked. So we're gonna learn a little bit about Kira's. We'll do that first. Give me a second. Kira's is an asteroid named after the Earth goddess that symbolizes nurturing ability, unconditional love, and family attachments. So that's telling you a little bit right there. So he has some type of home or family thing that didn't nurture him the way he would have wanted to be nurtured. So he's carrying that around with him. And people that know astrology, they probably can see it because that's in his first house. So he's carrying that. But when it goes backwards in the sky's time, when you're nurturing will need to be turned inward. The celestial event. Alright, so we're not going to read that part because we don't know when that date was based on. So it says, in essence, Aquarius retrograde does not bode well for relationships, especially if they are codependent in the first place. So that's what they did say. Aquarius retrograde will make a person change what they normally do. Like all of a sudden, if they're used to buying designer brands, all of a sudden they'll stop and buy something like, no name brands or something. And if they feel they're not being, like if they just feel something's not healthy, they'll just go totally the opposite to try to get out of it. But it's not that it's really unhealthy. It's just that that's how they feel. If they feel something's unhealthy, they'll try to get out of it one type of way. And it's funny because Libra is like that. Libra is in kind of like an idealistic world, just like Virgo. And Libra will also withdraw. Like once they see your reality, they may not want to be with you. Like they want to stay in the fantasy world. They said people with Aquarius retrograde may have more of a addictive or abusive behavior. And we'll look at the whole chart. I'm just showing you what they're saying. And romantic relationships could be a little colder. But just my own intuition is telling me you gotta, this is some type of past life or family or home stuff or a situation with the mother or something like that. So I'm getting this information from spiritnow.com about Aquarius retrograde. I just want everybody to know where I'm getting my information from for this. So the message Aquarius retrograde would be trying to teach this person is to go inward and cultivate your ability to unconditionally love yourself if you want to love others better. See, but that Virgo can be critical. So what I'm trying to tell you could have been a critical mother. It's something critical that's inside of him. But he's gonna be showing it outwardly because that's in your first house. So if you're around him, because sometimes you see people that can crack real good, but that's kind of what that is. That kind of what that is. Because even the comedians, they're real funny, but usually they're so funny and likable because a lot of stuff they're saying is kind of true, but they're just making it real funny. So this person has to go inwardly and learn how to nurture themselves because they feel like they are lacking nurturing from either a past life or a home or a family situation. But you can't be in a relationship if you don't know how to nurture because your spouse or your mate may need your nurturing. But they're also saying this person has got to learn how to tell other people no because too many people may be codependent on them. And they also say that Aquarius retrograde can be poor crops or poor agriculture. So these are things they can look out for. So something this person would have to work on in their first house is how to nurture themselves, especially in the home and relationship with children and things that you have to learn how to nurture because you're lacking that. All right, we'll continue. Second house is Libra with no activity. But when you see Libra in the second house, this is a person, what motivates them to go out and get finances or possessions, and what motivates their value system is having a partner, whether that's a partner, business partner, or a person in a relationship with, a friendship partner, but that's what motivates them to get up. They really want a partner there. And whenever you see Libra, it's always a chance to the law, something legal or the law. Now, we're going to read this list one time because we already read it for the her chart. But we're going to read it. We're going to tell you what's in Scorpio. That's the first thing we're going to do. In fact, let's just do this. Let's do Scorpio in the third house. Just give me a moment. Okay, Scorpio in the third house. The third house is ruled by Gemini. Second house is ruled by Taurus. And they got Libra in their second house. So they got Taurus and Libra. Both of those signs are ruled by Venus. So that's kind of interesting. Because Venus, can be about love or whatever. But that house is really empty. There's nothing there. So that's something to note. Okay, now that's just it. Third house is ruled by Gemini. Gemini, the third house, deals with person can be mental as far as understanding, intellectual. That's what I mean by mental. Mental, they use their mind, and intellectual, they communicate well, they multitask well. The third house deals with smaller children, education, your brother and sister, siblings, the environment around you, which that could include family, the brotherhood. The third house and the fifth house are your most creative houses. So the third house is usually a good poet, good poetry, but they're very creative. But the thing, when you see Scorpio in the third house, see, the Gemini is a lot like Aquarius. They love their freedom, and they like to know information, but they don't, like Gemini especially doesn't want to go too deep. Like Gemini just wants to get a overall understanding, then they want to keep it moving. But in order for a relationship to grow, it can't stay like that. So a lot of times they put Scorpio and Gemini to kind of make this person go deep, because Scorpio is probably one of the deepest zodiac signs there is. So Scorpio is there to make this person go deeper, because they'll never be in a long-term relationship if they kind of give up soon as they're not happy. And that's what we learned about in the first house. And then so it says you tend to Scorpio in the third house. You tend to intellectualize your emotions and deepest intimacies. To you, there isn't much and of life that simply happens. You are constantly looking for a deeper meaning in virtually everything that comes into your life. But what I'm trying to tell you, for him, that's good. He does that because if it was just a Gemini energy, he wouldn't go that deep. He's not going to soul search. He's not going to go that deep. In fact, once it starts to make him feel like this is wasting his time, he's out. They say if you see Gemini in the 10th house, your career, that's a person that goes from job to job, or they have a few like part-time jobs here and there, but they're not the type of person that would like stay at a long-term job or like a long full-time job. So now this person is, because Scorpio is in Gemini, this person is willing to talk about intimate topics or private matters because Gemini loves to take in information. And again, that could kind of be it's kind of like when you're a teacher and you're saying, okay, you're talking and somebody wants to keep talking, but you're like, hey, take notes, think about what I'm saying, get this into your system. You're going to be tested on this. But the Gemini is more interested in just talking the sociable aspect. Now, don't get me wrong, some Geminis might remember like that, but usually you do have to study, learn, practice, go home, prepare for the test. So your teacher might say, hey, listen, Gemini, stop talking. Every time I say something, you want to ask another question, or every time I say something, you want to just talk or have a chat with the classroom. You're here to learn, not socialize. So take some notes and be quiet. So in a relationship, usually people want you, like, don't get me, when you first meet somebody, it's all goofy and talking and giggling and feeling good. But it will come a time at some point where you want a more deeper conversation from this person. And that's why Gemini needs Scorpio. Because if it's not for Gemini or somebody pushing, if it's not for Scorpio or somebody pushing Gemini, Gemini's not going to do that. They're good for taking in information, asking a lot of questions, socializing. But then after that, they want to move on to the next topic. And when you want something real, you don't want somebody just moving on to the next topic. You want them to understand what you're saying. So that would be the problem in a relationship. So they say Scorpio and Gemini will turn Gemini into somebody who wants to go deeper, wants to listen, or wants to hear people's thoughts and wants to take it in. And this person may even be given secrets and all kind of intimate conversations. And they say plus Scorpio in the third house is good because the third house is about brotherhood. But they say Scorpio tends to kind of like silent. I don't know if that's true. I mean, Scorpios are secretive, but that doesn't mean they're isolationists. I don't think they're isolated. In fact, I think they do like to get out and dance and do all kind of stuff. But you're just not going to know. You're not going to know what they're really thinking. And Scorpios are real smart, highly intellectual. And when I read that list, you'll learn more. But they say so Gemini helps Scorpio become more sociable and more personal in a good way with people. And they say, well, both Scorpio and Gemini tend to take in information, but not necessarily to share it with everybody. So they say that with Scorpio in the third house, they're both learning how to, take in information, but also share it with others, with the brotherhood. But they have to be careful because you got Pluto and Scorpio there, which is all about power struggles. So they're saying you have to be careful in the third house not to bully people or try to force people to agree with what you're saying. And they have to learn to let the other people have their own expression. But the third house is the house of publishing, so the Scorpion can use that third house to really have a career in writing, anything they want to publish. So it's a lot in his third house. He's got a lot of possibilities there. But now, when you see Pluto retrograde, that means something is going to be taken away. See, in order for Pluto to teach you the lesson you need in this life, Pluto is going to dramatically and powerfully take something away that's going to force him to get to where he needs to get. So it may be something that kind of hits him hard, but it's going to force him to be more, because it is kind of shallow. When you're dealing with people that just want to talk, because I know me personally, I'm a deep person. I'm not with all that socializing. What is it? I'm more like, what does this mean? Where is this going to take us? I don't mind a little socializing, but I'm really always on some deep stuff, studying stuff. So I can understand that you don't want somebody around who's always asking a lot of questions, but they're not going to do nothing with it anyway, because to them they're just communicating. You want to learn, you want to grow. So that's what I kind of hitting him in the third house kind of hard. Now, we have to learn about the 8th house, because that's what Scorpio rules. Because his third house is his 8th house. Because of Scorpio. The 8th house is ruled by Scorpio, which is ruled by Pluto. It deals with secrets, sexual matters, mysteries, doubt. Because Scorpios tend to doubt. Once they trust you, they won't be that way. But when a Scorpio doesn't really know you, they're gonna doubt things. They're not gonna trust you. Accusations, suspicions, supernatural, psychic activities or abilities. Because psychics can pick things up. A person might think they're gonna get away with something, but if you're dealing with a Scorpio, like in his third house, or if you're dealing with a sun sign or a moon sign Scorpio, you're not going to be able to get away with it. You may think you are, but a lot of times you'll do stuff and somehow they'll know. Somehow they'll know it's supernatural. Internal plotting, internal indignation, conspiracy, vengeance, revenge. Scorpios can be very vindictive, and again, they're very secretive. So if they think you did something, they're going to somewhat convict you without even talking to you about it, and they're already going to be scheming on their revenge, and they know when to pick the right time and all kind of stuff. So just things to know about a Scorpio, especially if it's a sun sign or moon sign, but in his third house, that's how he's going to be. Conspiracy, vengeance, revenge, anxiety, because you're dealing with a watery sign. Scorpio is a very watery sign, but one thing about Scorpio, they can heal very well, and since his ascendant is Libra, see, he has great healing ability, and he probably has the ability to heal other people too, whether he knows it or not. Because Virgo and Scorpio are both healers. Anxiety, esoteric knowledge, forbidden knowledge, hidden knowledge, obsessions, addictions, compulsion, power, power struggles, manipulations, because Scorpios can be very manipulative. Power manipulations, abuse, greed, lust, compulsive behavior, codependencies, stalking, intense watery emotions, arguments, debates, taunting, revenge, fear, intensity, psychic abilities, great transformation, high sexuality, doubt, debt, taxes, the IRS, legal matters, court, lawsuits, inheritances, law breaking, shared resources, finances, business, karma, or other people's money. The soul, reincarnation, afterlife, birth, death, resurrection, rebirth, regeneration, rejuvenation, animalistic activities, freaky down and dirty activities, psychological situations, studies, research, knowledge, forbidden knowledge, investigations, investigators, investigators, managers, agents, addictions, drugs, alcoholism, other worlds, creepy crawlies, other dimensions, science, higher sciences, holistic healings, spiritual healings, alternative medicine, internet, long distance, advanced technology, alchemy, metaphysics, sacred geometry, things that are forbidden, taboo, astrology, knowledge, hidden knowledge, aliens, higher life, deceived persons, astral planing, telekinesis, dreams, interpretations, animals, enemies, Halloween, the divine womb, deities, tarot cards, higher thoughts, inheritances, loans, banking, animals, pregnancy, woman's body, and finance. So he has those things, some of them or all of them, going on in his third house. And that's really his eighth house, because Scorpio rules the eighth house. So his eighth house has become his third house. But because that's a creative house, if he learns how to use it correctly, he can use that third house creative energy and make a lot of money in creations through music, publishing, communications, writing, literature. So it's totally up to him to use it. But again, they feel like Pluto retrograde is necessary to kind of push him in these areas, because if he didn't have that Pluto retrograde, he would probably get comfortable, and that wouldn't cause a transformation, because Pluto and Scorpio rule the eighth house, and that's all about transformation, death, and rebirth. So you go down and come back up. So everything we said about the third house, he's going to be dying and resurrecting in that third house repeatedly. And even though that when Pluto strikes him, now we don't know when it's going to happen, but when Pluto retrograde strikes him, it will take him down, but at some point he will rise again. So in his house, it's called like the Phoenix. That's what he's got going on in his third house. Now, you see a little bit more information. The fourth house. So this can be a foreign family, or he has connections to what you call a foreign family, or a family that has connections with long distance travel or foreign travel. And even in their house, in his house or the house he was raised in, whichever one it might be, you'll probably see things connected to foreign things. But you have to remember that a lot of people forget that the fourth house is also about education. It's about teenage to adult education. But Sagittarius rules the ninth house, and that's about higher education, higher law, in-laws, foreign travel, the higher self, a lot of class and culture, religion and philosophy. So he has that going on. And that's all going on in the fourth house. Now, in his fourth house, he has some type of energy, Saturn energy, that will lay the law down. And in fact, not only would they lay the law down, but they had no problem getting physical. And whenever you see Mars in the fourth house or fifth house, you have to be careful, because you're dealing with children. And a lot of times it's implying abuse towards a child, whether it's verbal, physical, or any other type of abuse. So whenever I see that, I always warn people to be aware of that, that the children are protected. And then anybody that wants to bully a child for whatever reason, you would need to get help, because you got to really understand there's never a reason to bully a child. If you feel the need to bully a child, you need the mental help, not the child, because children are supposed to be children, and adults are supposed to help them become better children and eventually better adults. So there's never a reason to abuse a child. So that's in that house, fourth house. So now that energy, that Saturn energy in the fifth house, it could be a male energy that was somewhat trying to lay down the law and not afraid to use force, or it could even be a female that's a very strong female, a strong-willed, that her, like she's so strong-willed that she's masculine. And Uranus means anything could happen. Not always bad, but see, when you see things like that, Uranus is saying anything could happen. And this family had or has foreign connections, so they could either get information from something foreign that still causes their house to act up, because it's that way. It's just Uranus, and anything can happen with Uranus. And a lot of times when you see Uranus and Sagittarius, it can even be like innovative ways to go long distance, like the internet. Innovative ways to go long distance, such as the internet or other ways. But his fourth house of family house definitely has a long distance, possibly a foreign energy to it. And that's also his Juno is saying he would probably find somebody in a serious relationship that has something to do with foreign or Sagittarius energy or ninth house energy or some type of Cancer energy, because that's still a fourth house, so you're still going to have Cancer energy there as well. So now you want to really look at the 9-degree Sagittarius. Why? Because when you see like I said, whenever you see Saturn and Mars, you're looking at an authority that has no problem using force or extremeness to get what they want. They're going to lay down a law any way they feel necessary, and that could be unfair. It could also be dangerous. All right, so give me a second. All right, give me a second. Just wait for this browser. Nine degrees Sagittarius. Pleasant, clever, flexible character, endowed with excellent towers for mimicry. Wait, give me a second. I'm trying to find something I just had. Driven by an acute intellectual curiosity, one is always willing to reckon with other people's experiences and reconsider one's standpoint. These are valuable assets which open the road to success, fame, and wealth. However, it is necessary to ensure that skills are not misused and do not translate into forgery or the manufacture of fake products. See, this person they have a gift of imitating. Now, when I first started, when I talk about comedians and stuff, right? And I told you, why? I said, why are they so successful? Because they're saying stuff that you can relate to. That's mimicking. You can relate to, like, yeah, that happened to me. Oh, my friend Johnny, that sounds like Johnny. Oh, that joke he just said about his brother, my brother's like that. So this person has that gift. It goes back to what I've said in the beginning. But like if you take somebody like Howard Stern, what made him the way he was his father. His father was always more or less pushing him and bullying him. And so he became very defiant of authority. And that's what made him famous, though. That's how he dealt with his father, was making jokes and all that. And he hates bullies, and that's what made him Howard Stern. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. And then went right to the home sector. I told you this is something coming out of something he's been through. So Pluto retrograde is going to hit him hard. It's going to help him take life a little bit more seriously, because Pluto retrograde is going to try to get him to where he needs to be in this life. So he's got a gift for taking reality and using it for his benefit, and that's what a comedian does. But they're telling him he better not use it for forgery or mimic, like fake products or something. You know, got to be careful. You should sell them bootleg and stuff, because that can take you back to the third house where Scorpio is. You got to be careful you ain't selling bootleg stuff like that. And he better not get involved with counterfeit money, because that's what I first told you all about Libra. I told you had to be careful. See, these charts would happen, and you know, some people, because they hear things and immediately you have to take a chart all in. These are just possibilities. See, I never claim to be psychic. I'm not saying, oh, that's what's going on. I'm saying from me studying the chart, these are all possibilities you should be aware of. But after that, there's really nothing you can do. And if you're dealing like Scorpios love secrets, so he's not gonna be that's his communication. So he's always gonna have some type of secrets he's hiding. And they say if a person violates what they're warning a person against bootlegging and counterfeiting and stuff, they say this person would have serious legal problems, and we need to escape, as suggested by the scattered coins in the image. Well, we're not looking at any images, but so they have to be very careful. All right, so that was 9 degrees Sagittarius. Now I believe we do have 10 degrees Sagittarius as well. And another thing, remember Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, which is money as well. So you have to be very careful. Treacherous, crafty, and violent character. See, and it's right there with Mars. So that's what I'm telling you. So it's definitely there. This is 10 degrees Sagittarius. Treacherous, crafty, and violent character, devoid of qualms. So definitely the possibility is there to beat up a kid, beat up a child, bully a child, anybody else. Objectives are attained through dangerous, cunning, even cruel strategies. They say with 10 degrees Sagittarius, enmities are going to abound and property loss is highly likely. All right, now we're going to Uranus, and whenever you see Uranus, Uranus means anything could happen at any time. And you got to remember, because Uranus, even the funny thing about Uranus and Saturn don't get along. But I just got finished what I tell you about Howard Stern. His father represented that Saturn. Sit down and shut up, you dummy. And that's what his father used to say to him when he was young. Sit down and shut up, you dummy. So that's Saturn. And then Uranus is going to find a way to combat that with jokes or keep on acting up anyway. Even if you mean you're going to get a beating, they're going to do it anyway. So now you got Uranus at 21. You got, 21 degrees Sagittarius. Aggressive, quarrelsome, and nasty character. It is absolutely necessary to keep violent instincts tightly reined in, lest the most terrible disasters happen. So If it hasn't happened already, this is a violent situation waiting to happen. All right, moving on to the 5th house. Now, whenever you see Neptune, whenever you see Neptune, so to make sure I said that your 4th house that we're leaving with Sagittarius is there, it's about teenage to adult education, land and property, ancestors and family, the heart, vehicles, and possibly travel. The 4th house has your whoever raised this person in a mother capacity when they were young. This is Imom Kweli. So generally you would see like the moon and Cancer. But whenever you see Saturn, you're seeing some type of masculine energy. Now, it could still be a dad, some type of masculine energy, some type of father figure, somebody in the father position, or it is a mother who is very masculine, very domineering. And you kind of got that feeling, you kind of got that vibe from the Virgo with no nurturing. Because, see, the nurturer is the moon in Capricorn. But we're not saying that it could have been both. But it seemed like he was kind of pushed. And it could have even been a Virgo energy that really bullied him. And now you got this person that's kind of not hinged, can blow up at any moment. And when they blow up, it's definitely going to be a beatdown. Like, it's not going to be no loud argument and everybody going to calm down. He coming to kick your ass. That's 4th house. He's not playing around. Now, so that's now your 5th house is ruled by Leo. Because I think we said this person has some Leo issues on their chart when I did her chart. Now, her chart is right on this page. It's a newer video. So all you got to do is look at the charts. They should look alike because that'll be her chart. But I think I do remember mentioning some stuff about Leo. All right. So 5th house ruled by Leo. So again, it's about fun and children. Having fun, opposing authority, creation, traveling, taking risk. But now with Capricorn and Leo, Capricorn is a person who can make a business off of having fun. They know how to have fun, but make this a business to them. But also with a Capricorn, you have to be careful because like they still wanna control the situation. Because Capricorn tend to be kind of serious and professional. So you know how you say, oh, Saturday we're going to the amusement park, and everybody's ready to go to the amusement park, but they still try to plan it. Like, okay, it's gonna take it's 17 miles from here, and blah blah blah. When we get there, we'll do this, and they're not. It's not fun no more because you just want to go. You just want to go have fun. You don't want somebody telling you, okay, at 3:15 we'll do this, and we'll stand in line. That's going to be a half hour, and then the ride will be 3:45. We'll get on the ride. It's a 5-minute ride. We'll be at 3:50, and then blah blah blah. And then by 4:20, we'll get to the next line. You don't want that's not fun. But that's a Capricorn in the 5th house because they're still trying to control the situation and trying to be real professional when you're trying to have fun. And like when you're dealing with kids, most of the time in the 5th house, kids just want to have fun. They don't want somebody. See, that Capricorn, remember, Saturn rules Capricorn. So it's probably the same energy almost. Because the same energy that brought havoc in the family, the 4th house, is the same energy trying to control the 5th house. You understand? Now, when you're dealing with children, if you're taking your children to an amusement park, just go. Now, the only way you don't is if it's certain rides you know they want to get on. Then of course you will make sure they get on the rides they want to get on because it's supposed to be about a fun day for the kids. So it's supposed to be about the kids. Now, if your kid definitely wants to get on a ride, they'd be like, "Well, Mom, what ride, they want to ask what ride. Then they want you to be Capricornian. They want you to look at the map. They want you to know where it's at. And they want you to take you to the ride. And they might want to go on that ride first because that's really why they come. And you say, the little kid's name is Bobby. You say, well, Bobby, it's a long line. Don't you want to walk around first? Walk around first and get on other rides. Because if you wait on that long ride, you may never get on the other rides. But Bobby might be like, he might be so obsessed with that ride. He's like, I don't care. I want that ride. I want it now. So you said you're taking Bobby out. Take Bobby out. Don't sit there and be a Capricorn. Don't try to tell Bobby, no, Bobby, we're gonna do it my way. Because, you know, why tell Bobby you're gonna take him to the amusement park and then you bossing Bobby around? So it's all about Bobby. So you don't want a Capricornian effect in the 5th house. And you know, it all depends on who you're dealing with. Adults, you might be able to do it differently, but with children, you got to remember, if you're taking the kids out, it's supposed to be about the kids, not about you. Now, Neptune. See, Neptune and Leo, that's also, these are people that have psychic abilities, and they could talk to like other things going around. Neptune controls your dreams and Pisces. And Pisces also rules the 12th house. See, when you go to his 12th house, he's got Leo issues. Because that's what Leo is too. But I'm sure his Leo issues are tied in with that Saturn and Capricornian energy. So he's got to find a way to deal with that. He's got to deal with whatever he felt he was bullied or whatever. Now they say whenever you see Capricorn, see Neptune in Capricorn is a lot like Uranus opposing Saturn. Because Saturn is saying, hey, this is the way we're going to do it. Status quo, rules and regulations. And Uranus is saying, nah, we're not doing it that way. If I have to oppose you to try my best to overthrow you or overthrow your ways, I'm going to do it. Neptune and Capricorn do the same thing. Because it breaks Capricorn down so that more idealistic ways can come. Like power to the people. So rugged authorities are overthrown and power to the people come. And they say when you see Neptune and Capricorn, that is spirit coming into the material world. Like the spirit will incarnate from Neptune into Saturn or Capricorn, but they have to be taken out. So that's what's going on in his 5th house with Leo. But Neptune is very idealistic and can be called the deceiver. But again, if you're being bullied, sometimes you escape. And that's the idealistic. Just escape. Like if somebody had a horrible family, they say, hey, how was your family? Oh, it was great. You know, every weekend we went out and we went to picnics and we were on horses. And it was great. I mean, I just had... But they're really lying about everything. Like it was horrible and they don't know what else to say. So that's kind of like what you're looking at in the 5th house. 6th house, and then that's the vertex. But that vertex is in the 6th house, but it's coming off the 5th house. The vertex is a significant meeting, a significant event, a significant breakup, a soul meeting with your soulmate, or a meeting with your twin soul. Soulmate is anybody in your soul family. Twin soul is the same soul but a different body. That's your twin flame. Twin soul is twin flame. Now, she's getting this free report. All this information is there. 2 videos I tell everybody to watch. DNA Awakening, Twin Flame Drama, because they really help you understand what twin flame relationships really are. And DNA Awakening, the stages of a twin flame relationship. Because most people on YouTube are on some immature stuff and they're chasing feelings, but twin flames ain't got nothing to do with that. And you have to learn that if you're ever going to be successful with your twin flame. And not just you, but they got to learn too. Because otherwise all you're going to be doing is running and chasing and hurting each other. But life is going on. And this is what I'm trying to tell people. Life is going on. This planet is on a time frame, and it's in the last whatever you want to call it. So while you're worrying about something that's never going to happen because you don't even know how to go about it the right way, you're actually being distracted to what you should be knowing. It's like your house is being surrounded and the rest is going to be bad news, and you could be doing something about it if you were awake. So you got to watch distractions. And that's why everything I do is to try to help people. And I've been doing this for decades. Everything, not just the spiritual stuff, you name it, anything trying to help people wake up, I've been doing for a long time. All right. So now, here goes that Aquarius. And this is where he dedicates a lot of his energy for healing. And Jupiter is right there too. But it's also going into his 7th house. So his 6th house is trying to heal. See, because Aquarius wants freedom. They just want to help people. And they want to take in knowledge. But they want to feel free. So the 6th house is Virgo energy, helping this person to heal. But they have to be careful because Vesta, who's a priestess, but Vesta says you have to be careful because this is where they put a lot of their energy, and you don't want to burn out because they could start having health problems. So they have to take a rest in this area too. But how they're trying to heal is heal other people, and most people do that have been hurt. Like they'll just try to help. So that's what Aquarius is trying to do in the 6th house, trying to heal, because the 6th house is about health, home, service, healing, small children, small animals, co-workers, subordinates. It's all about the home. So this is what they're doing in the 6th house. And somehow they're also being blessed by the universe with Jupiter. But remember, Jupiter rules Sagittarius. So now her Sagittarius has same thing. Sun, Jupiter. Her Aquarius. Sun, Jupiter, and Vesta. Now I want to see his Aquarius. Same thing. Sun, Jupiter. So in that one, you can see that these two have like that's definitely a soul connection. May not be twin soul. We'll have to see. But it's definitely like a soul connection. So she'd have to pay attention to whatever I said on her chart about Aquarius. Because it's talking about him as well. In his chart, whatever his chart says about Aquarius is talking about her. And her ascendant is also Libra. And his third house is Mercury with Pluto retrograde. But see, that's how I say this is how this works. And this is how you could tell they're connected definitely by soul, because the creators offset it. See, if her ascendant was house number, if her ascendant was where, I talked about this. You have to go back and hear what I said because I can't repeat the whole thing. Bottom line is, her AC is saying 12, but ascendant makes it the first house. I was saying that. But what I'm trying to tell you, if they took the AC with Libra and put it where it says number 1, or even better than that. That's what I'm saying. If they take her AC and put it where it's house number 1, which will really then be house number 2, because they're offsetting. This is what I'm trying to tell y'all. They're offsetting this. See, my screen is, I'm looking at a different screen than yours. That's why I got to keep clicking back and forth. So you have to give me a moment. See, his ascendant is Virgo. But his house is eerily starting to follow her house. But it's just different houses. But it's almost like the same planet lineup. So he's got Sagittarius, Saturn, Mars, and Uranus. She's got Sagittarius, Mars, Saturn, and Uranus. And I think, and that's Juno. Same thing with his, that's Juno. So we'll see, because she already told me. Like, both of these guys got the same name. But this is typical twin flame stuff. And it's funny because his name is kind of like twin. His name is kind of like twin. So this stuff could drive you crazy because you'll start to see so many synchronicities. But so far, those two, and we'll still have to see the other chart. So whatever I said about Aquarius on her chart is him. And I know I said a lot of stuff about Sagittarius on her chart too. And that's probably him too. So in some ways they bring each other healing. And she was asking me, see, because Vesta, because we were talking about Mother Mary. Well, Vesta works with Virgo. See, his first house is really dealing with his 6th house and his 7th house. And Virgo and Vesta work together. So that's Mother Mary again. See, if you really understand what's going on, we all come from source. And when you understand spirituality, God tells you in Isaiah 45, 6-7, I am the darkness, I am the light, I am the good, I am the evil. Now, there was a great show that came on years back. It was the Elliot Ness show. It was The Untouchables, but the newer one. I think his name was John Forsythe or something. And that was a great show, one of my favorite shows. Because I used to watch the old Elliot Ness in black and white. But then they came out with that one. And they were trying to show you the metaphysical connection between Al Capone and Elliot Ness. And it started in a movie theater. Because see, they were destined to meet. And they started in a movie theater where Elliot Ness they were both teenagers, and Elliot Ness is trying to watch the movie. Now, he's not thinking about law enforcement. He doesn't want to go into law enforcement. He's just a teenage kid. But Al Capone is he's already in the streets. He's already a gangster. So he's sitting there with another guy, and he's talking through the whole movie. And Elliot Ness is getting pissed off. And Elliot Ness is the only one that has the nerve to say to him, hey, could you calm down? Could you be quiet? I'm trying to watch the movie. So so Al Capone was like, who is this dude talking to? Like, I'm a gangster. I'll shoot him. Like, and they get into it like at the theater where Capone is looking at him like, shut up, you little nerd, before you get yourself hurt. And little does Capone know that years later, this dude is going to be in law enforcement with the authority of the government to take him down. But that's not the only time they meet. Now, the second time they meet, because Elliot Ness was in the movie, he was like a crazy dude. He was kind of like me, nerdy, into superheroes and shit. So when he first gets the authority from the government to go stop Capone, he doesn't go into surveillance. He goes, because Capone his headquarters was this big old building. Anybody that knows the history of Capone. It was a big old building. And sometimes he would be there. He would even sleep there. But that was his headquarters. And they had a big old long staircase upstairs and stuff. But Capone had been out of town. But Elliot Ness had people watching him. That's all, Scorpio investigation stuff. So Elliot Ness stood on the stairs by himself. And Capone was coming up with all his men. And they're laughing because Capone was always loud. I mean, the way they played him in the movie. He was always loud and bodacious and confident. Laughing and giggling. And so Elliot Ness says something to him, like, because they got ready to walk past Elliot Ness, like, we don't know who this dude is and we don't care. because they don't think nobody's that stupid to come to their home base. So they don't think he's a threat. So they kind of do look at him, and he's just staring at him. But they kind of like, this guy's weird. Leave him alone. He's not that stupid. It's too many of us. There's only one of him. We don't know what this guy's problem is. But look, we're having a good time. Forget this guy. So he finally says something to Capone. And Capone's like, what? Are you talking to me? And he says something like, yeah, you're Al Capone, right? Yeah, you run Chicago, right? Yeah. I want to introduce myself to you. And he's like, I don't care who you are. It's like, what are you doing? And they just looking at him. And then Capone wants to do something, but one of his right-hand men is like, no, don't do it. This is just a setup. They want us to act up to give them reason. Because they knew he was probably law enforcement. He said, don't feed into it. They just want us to act up so they can come in here. Don't respond to him. But they knew he had to be somebody to be that bold. But at that time, they didn't know who he was. So anyway, they go back and forth. Took him a couple of seasons before he finally gets Capone. So the day they convict Capone on tax evasion, and that's another 8th house thing. And when I say these stories, there's usually a reason. There's a resonation, but people don't understand what I'm doing because we already read that there could be problems here with this person. Because sometimes you can have, sometimes you have a gangster mentality because of where you're from, like your past life. And, we already read about the 8th house and the finances and all that kind of stuff. Well, it's in the 3rd house, but it's still rule. His 3rd house is 8th house because of Scorpio. And we already read that. But to finish what I'm trying to tell y'all is Elliot Ness was there when the court convicted Capone of tax evasion because that's the only way they could catch him. They couldn't catch him on murders. They couldn't catch him on nothing. And the true story is it was a nerd. It was a nerd that couldn't caught Capone. Because the nerd said, you're never going to catch Capone on any murder charges. The best way to catch Capone is on tax evasion. And they laughed in his face. They said, tax evasion? This dude is a brutal murderer. What are you talking about? Tax evasion? They laughed at him. But that was how they caught him. And so it really wasn't Elliot Ness that caught him. It was that nerd. And that's real life. And so, but in the movie, so again, they do it again. They take you right back to the beginning. I'll be back. I gotta put this on hold. Alright, so anyway, they had convicted Capone. They're walking Capone out of the courtroom. And Elliot Ness is doing it again. Now this is the 3rd time he's personally gotten up in Al Capone's face. Now you gotta understand, even in the TV show, Capone never knew who Elliot Ness was. He didn't give a F about him. Even when he stood up in his face in Capone's building, he never knew who that dude was. He just knew this is some weird dude, probably some type of enforcement law trying to get me. But Capone actually put a hit out on Elliot Ness and his whole family. And that's in the movie. So but at the time, he still didn't know who Elliot Ness was. So at the courthouse, Elliot Ness, Capone's walking out and he's mad because he knows he's going to jail for life. And Elliot Ness is like, do you remember me? And Capone was like, who? What are you talking about? He said, do you remember me? He said, what are you talking about? He said, don't you remember me at the movie theater? And the guy, he's like, what are you talking about? Because to Capone, he's lived a full life. This man's done everything. Been out of the country. He's been with some of the most powerful people in the world. He's done something with his life. The last thing he's worried about is something he did when he was a teenager in a movie. But Elliot Ness, basic nerd, probably went to school, raised a family, but he remembers he's a nerd. But Capone is like, what are you talking about? Movie? What are you talking about? And then Elliot Ness was like, do you remember when I stood in your building in front of you? And then Capone looked at him like, yeah, I do kind of remember. What do you want? And he's like, I knew I was going to get you. And Elliot Ness was like, I told myself if it took, I was going to get you. And he was just real happy that this dude was going to jail. It's like when a person gets baptized, like they become a Christian and gets baptized and they got this crazy smile. And that's how Elliot Ness looked. Like, but that's metaphysics. That's why I'm trying to tell you all this. This is metaphysics. A lot of stuff is destined to happen. But with natal charts, you have the opportunity to actually see it. Like what I do is for thinking people. Because a lot of people, they just want to go with feelings and they never want to. And that's why they're never going to get to where they need to be. Because you can't. Life is not just going to be feelings. Life, you have to learn how to think. That's why you have a brain also. But more people would rather just spend up money talking to some psychic that could be telling them anything. Now, some psychics are pretty good. But nothing's more powerful than when you can see it. But that's why I said, but you still have to be willing to take notes. You got to be able to think. Because this is always going to be deeper. Especially when you're dealing with twin flames. It's way deeper than emotions. It's way deeper than synchronicities. It's way deeper than all that. It's a balance between the mind and the heart. Alright, so you're seeing these two definitely have a connection. And definitely looks twin flame. But I've seen charts. When I see 3 charts like this, it could be anything. Alright, I'm going to put this on pause. One moment, I'll be back. The reason why your natal chart is from God, and this is what I'm trying to tell people, it's from the Creator, it's from God, it's your life, and it's trying to help you. That's why it's giving you 12 houses. The 12th house is the house that you really need healing on, reckoning how to work on this stuff. This is how you improve on your relationship. Not just trying to take the easy way out, not just going somewhere, not giving somebody a whole lot of sex with no type of commitment. Because if you want more, you're just selling yourself short. And they used to tell women that way back when. Who's going to buy the cow if they're already getting the milk? It's just certain things you learn. It's like just common sense stuff. So nobody might have knew why I did what I did with the Elliot Ness and Capone, but that was a dance. That was a metaphysical dance of light versus darkness, good versus evil. And Elliot Ness put his trust basically in like what I do, the nerd way, but he puts his trust in the source, and he believes somehow we're going to get this guy, and somehow, you know, the universe will help me, and he really believed that, and ultimately that's what happened. No disrespect to Capone though, because he was a victim of his circumstance. He never wanted to be a gangster. He was selling lemonade on the corner, but he was in the wrong, I guess you could call it the wrong neighborhood. They pushed him the wrong way. He learned, a certified gangster showed him how to live on the street, and I mean not live on the street like a hobo, but live on the street, not taking no shit from nobody. And he became one of the biggest, best known. To this day, they still talk about Capone. So you gotta respect him for those things. I try not to judge people. I try to learn from situations. But that's always been a great one with me. The metaphysics of Elliot Ness and Al Capone. All right. So that's why you want the natal chart, to know what you're doing, what's going on, get a better understanding. So again, I'm going to repeat what I did to say. So whatever I said on her chart about Aquarius and Sagittarius, Sagittarius also rules the 9th house. Aquarius rules the 11th house. And also, you know, whatever we said about Scorpio, Scorpio rules the 8th house. Because these two have a similar in those areas. All right, so I'm still at his 6th house. And again, his 6th house is going to take him into his 11th and 12th house. Just like his 12th house is taking him into his 5th house and his 6th house. Well, really his 5th house and 7th house too. Because of Pisces. So now his 7th house, very spiritual. He wants to communicate, and he's capable of unconditional love, and he's a Pisces. But he just made it in, and that's awesome too. He just made it in as a Pisces. Now I gotta tell you guys what went on, because both these male charts, we had to get the time of birth from the archangels. So now we gotta go back in, because a lot of times they'll try to tell you messages, even though you just asked them for the time. Because the archangels are about love, they try to give you information. So I'm just got to find the paperwork. Give me a moment. And even his last name basically is an animal. But see, I keep trying to tell y'all about it, angels and stuff. And that's why, because she could see it. Because she was telling me about Pisces, Aquarius. She was telling me about Mother Mary and Jesus. So you can see all this on the chart. But if you come from source, this is what I was trying to tell you when I got off on Capone and Elliot Ness. In other words, they're from source. So source lives through you. The yin and the yang is the divine mother and the divine father through you. That's why I said I love what I do. I'm metaphysical. You understand? I'm not with the silly stuff. Because you could chase something all your life, but until you understand what it is, you're never going to know what you're doing. That's why you want the natal charts. That's why I do it the correct way. I'm not out here, like I said, I could have just been a marketer. I could have been like most of these people on YouTube. All they're doing is marketing you shit that's never going to happen. But you believe it's so real because it's so powerful. But it was going to be powerful anyway. It didn't come from that person on YouTube. It came from God. It came from source. What you have to learn is how to do with it, how to deal with it. And you got to be strong, because you may be at a point where you want to communicate, but your twin may not want to talk to you. And it's nothing you can do about it. You can waste all your money all you want, but he's not going to talk to you. You got to be building yourself up. That's what I do out here. So that's why I say I'm metaphysical. I'm not benefiting off of people in their pain. I'm trying to help them. But it's certain things you have to do too. And I'm strong enough to tell you that. This is why the North Node is in Leo right now throughout the universe. And then I do biblical studies. And you can see it in the Bible studies as well. Different names I have, all kind of stuff. All this stuff, God's in control. There is a spirit. There is a God. He's in control of everything. So again, when you see Frank Nitti, when you see Al Capone and Elliot Ness, you see something that was metaphysically meant to happen. It couldn't be avoided. And when you understand these things, you're better prepared to deal with it. Not saying like if I saw my twin, maybe I would still be a little shook up. Who knows? I don't even know what I would do. But at least I understand now. Things I didn't understand in 2014, I see clearly now. But that's because I did it the right way. Alrighty. So now we're looking at what the archangels told me when I asked about the time for this gentleman. Okay, they showed me Haniel, the Passion card. And see, whenever you hear passion, you're going to be dealing with Venus, and that's in this 6th house. Well, really, it's the 7th house. So you got Venus right there. Then they gave me Raguel. This is why I learned you gotta let the angels talk. And a lot of times people try to like push you or bully you, but you can't let them push you or bully you. You gotta stick with the angels, because the angels know what they're talking about. Then the next card, I asked about the time, but then they gave me Raguel, which represents that Sagittarius energy, and that's in the 4th house, as well as the 9th house. Then they gave Michael, which represents the Sun card. And that Sun is right in the same house that Venus is in, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is. So all the cards that they're given so far. And Jupiter represents Sagittarius. So all the cards they're given, because she asked me about Jesus, and that represents Pisces in the 12th house. And she told me tell me about Pisces and Aquarius. So every card that came out is hitting you in that 7th house so far. A relationship. And then the final card they gave was card number 6, which is Virgo. And as we've been learning, this whole thing is about Virgo, because his ascendant is Virgo. And her 6th. Let's look at his first. His ascendant is Virgo, and his 6th house, where Jupiter is, or Sagittarius, is Aquarius, which is Virgo. So the question she asked, they're all answering it. So that's why you do it this way, though, because you can see it. Because listen, I don't know, I don't get it, but I'm just real honest. And I think what happened with people, but it's always been that way. Even in real, like offline, people are just intimidated because you're just honest and you're confident, and people hate that. It's like they want you to be insecure and silly stuff. Like if you did it the right way, you would know who you are. And if you knew who you were, you would know you have no reason ever to feel not have confidence. Even when you do your Archangel card readings, that's why I said if you're actually listening. See, when it's just, oh, you know, I want an angel card reading, But you're getting a reading, but you're not listening. You're just hearing something about if they use the word love or something, then you listen. But you're not listening to what the Archangel says. Because they tell you over and over again, you have nothing to fear, don't worry. As long as you pursue your spiritual goals first, the universe will take care of you. So you have no reason to really be worried. But you have to really believe that. Like I said, it's the same way. If you called yourself a Christian, you're supposed to really believe that if you're doing what you're supposed to, you have nothing to worry about. But people don't do that. And that's why if somebody comes out and they actually start to tell them what it really is, they're not used to that. Because they're not used to somebody that really, it pushes them back. I've seen this my whole life. So the motivation I'm trying to tell you guys is be more like Elliot Ness. Really, really do what you're supposed to and believe that it works. And then you'll see it working. Otherwise, you're just out here playing a game. And you're getting ripped off. Because these people are making a lot of money on it. And I say, like, all these people, are they with their twins? I mean, they're coming to you, you're giving them all this advice, and you're taking all this income, but are they with their twins yet? If they're coming to you for twin flames and coming to you over and over again, are they with their twins yet? Has there been any progress? Because if not, you're being ripped off. All right, so that was the first time. But every card that came out is dealing with that, primarily the 7th house, but the 6th house. And the question was about his time, but that's the archangels. So I asked it again. I asked him the question again. Then the card that came out was Moon. Now this is for this gentleman's chart to the left. The Moon card came out, which is Gabriel. Just said the nurture. Now Metatron and Gabriel are implying that this gentleman is so like an indigo child or a sensitive child or a crystal child, which means they're more closer to 5th dimension than men in 3rd dimension. So they're not going to respond the same way. So when you're dealing with a male that's an indigo crystal child or a sensitive child, he's not going to respond like a 3rd dimension. So you have to really be aware of that. Because you may do something that pushes him away. Because you expect him to respond like a 3rd dimensional man, and he's not going to. Moon is Gabriel or nurture. So the moon says nurture, the child. And also the next card that came out was Hanael again. And see, she represents the moon. But then she said to know your moon cycles. Because we're getting ready to go into a new moon in just 2 days. And I did a video that totally explains that from every perspective. So I did that video as well. And the people that saw it definitely appreciated it. Then they go to Aries. Ariel came and said, spread your wings. So now we're going to look at Aries just to see what happens. And see, that's her 6th house. I mean, let me look at it again. Give me one more. That's actually her 7th house. Is Aries. Because I believe we're at his 6th and 7th house. But he has a lot of activity. His 7th house. But that Aries is her because her 7th house is Aries. Then it said 5 Leo. And that represents the sun because that's the sun sign. The sun is Leo's ruler. And you see he has that sun right in that 7th house. So almost every answer the archangels gave was about his 7th house and one about her 7th house, which is Aries. But that was for him. So we'll wait till we get to the other person to see what the archangel said about him. right, now we'll continue. So these two definitely look more like twin flames just based on the placements. They're copying each other, but everything's offset. So we just got to keep that in mind. It's offset. Because sometimes when natal charts offset each other, they're soulmates. But when they really begin to mimic each other, that's when you really say these could still be twin souls. And I already explained what the difference is. So now we go right into his 8th house, which is the unknown. And that is Aries is right there. And her true north node is kind of close to her Aries, which is interesting. All right, so really, make sure I got it. Okay. So his Aries, which is the 2nd house, is going to affect his 3rd house too. But it's very aggressive. With Aries, it's going to be very aggressive. And whatever his 1st house is ruled by Aries, so that Virgo is going to be kind of aggressive too. So he would really have to learn how to watch how he talked to people, and he's going to have to really deal with aggression because we've seen it all over the place. And he's dangerously aggressive. So you got to really, that's why I said even with twin flames, you got to know all that stuff. Because you, like, really, you help your twin. That's why I said you can't be weak. Now, her chart, we know for a fact somebody was bullying her. I remember that. Because, see, I do this, what I do with your charts, like, I can remember, but what I do, I train myself. Once I do a chart and stuff, I move on. Because that's people's personal information. So that's why I do what I do. I'm not going to remember everything. Like, if they reschedule with me, then I'll remember stuff like that. But otherwise, I move on because it's to their benefit. But we did cover bullying. Somebody was bullying her and stuff like that. And she's got to learn how to so that chart is on it's a recent video. So all you gotta do is open up my channel and just look at the recent videos, and you'll see the chart that looks like this chart. So that'll be the reading I did for her. Yeah, because remember Mars rules Aries, and see that aggression. So that's why I said sometimes you have to toughen up, because you're actually helping your twin. It may not seem like it at the time, but it's better they get the help they need, because you and that person can never have any type of relationship if you're too scared to, or if you're running and all that. All right, so good fortune is almost in the 9th house, but it's still in the 8th house, so we are going to treat it as it's in the 8th house. Good fortune in the 9th house. Good fortune, I believe, yes. Let me double check again. Good fortune in the 8th house. It's almost in the 9th house, but it's in the 8th house. Good fortune in the 8th house. A person who's interested in the occult, they have great powers of regeneration and rejuvenation, and can be an expert in investigation, research, detective work. And again, he's probably a real good healer too, especially with whatever I said about his Virgo, because I know he had a unique Virgo. I think that's his ascendant, which is healing. He can keep a secret so well that he is like an international diplomat, and he can indeed earn a living this way. This person can also make a living based on the talents and abilities of others. He could be an agent or a manager of other people's money. This person is usually very attractive due to personal magnetism. And again, so you just have to be careful. You see, he's good, and I warned her. Because whenever you have Scorpio in your second house, that ain't really good. Because that's other people's money. But your second house is supposed to be your money. So you could meet a slick talker, fast talker, and he can have you believing. And then you donate money to him or give him money thinking you're investing it. And then he's not coming through. So you have to be very, very careful. And plus they already said that he's good at bootleg shit, counterfeiting shit. So you gotta be very careful. Because that's why I said when you understand twin flame, people think it's a love story. It's not. It could be a horror story. It's still your twin, but it could be a horror story. But you know, you could help the twin to some degree. You just gotta. It's a lot of wisdom, but that's why I be trying to teach people spirituality as well. Because a lot of people don't really have spirituality no more. All right. So now we want good fortune in Aries. This person is active, bold, confident, self-assertive, and exercises initiative. But they're very innovative and creative. And Aries is always like the first or the beginning creative, so they have that in their 8th house. Now his true north node is Taurus and the 9th house, but that's also medium Coeli, because medium Coeli is like it's also part of your life purpose. And he's got a lot of 2/7s in that house as well. So you're going to do Taurus in the 9th house. Now this is moonplutoastrology.com. I'm going to look at it real quick. All right, we're not going to do that one. Because they kind of give you a little information. They give you a whole lot of stuff that really is not dealing with the question. So we're going to use somebody else who's going to give you what you're looking for. Now again, your 9th house is ruled by Sagittarius, and that's ruled by Jupiter, but it's about your higher self. So these people look to philosophy and spiritual things to obtain their finances and resources. But they tend to rely more on, you know, physical stuff, spiritual stuff they learned in the 8th house, or you know, whatever they learned in the 3rd house, because Scorpio's there too. And they don't always rely on tangible evidence. And that could be good sometimes, but you just have to be careful. Because that's people that take real risk and they think they're not going to get caught. Because you've seen people do that. Like when they finally get into law enforcement or the courtroom, they really are arrogant. Like they're not going to get stopped. And they finally get a reality check. So you got to, if you knew who the Moors are. Now the Moors, they represent that Taurus. They represent that bull. And a lot of Moors will go in court and they'll tell the courtroom why we don't have to listen to you and you can't tell us and that. And they don't always win. Sometimes they do, but they don't always win. So that's that type of, these are people that are relying on a lot of stuff. See, a lot of stuff could be true, but the bottom line is it's not pre-Columbus anymore. It's post-Columbus. Post-Columbus meant destruction for indigenous people. And they're beginning to heal now. They're beginning to wake up and get their power back now. But a lot of people continually try to tell this beast, oh, you can't tell me, blah, blah, blah. But they've been telling you what to do for, in this country, they've been telling you what to do for over 400 years probably. So to think that they're not going, they're going to keep telling you what to do till God step in. So you can't just go, oh, I believe this or I believe that, and because of this reason. So this Taurus in the 9th house, they can be that way. And when they're that way, it may work sometime, but you're basing your beliefs on what you learned in the 8th house or what you learned in his 3rd house because it's Scorpio. But that's a whole lot of secret society, secrets in occultism, esoteric, and it may or may not work in reality. So they're telling this person you still gotta stay in touch with reality. But they'll do good teaching and stuff because they can actually make a lot of money because they're very intelligent and they're taking in information very well, and they could really make a living doing that. But they have to come off a lower frequency. Lower frequency says, well, I should get paid for what I believe I should, but that's the only way they see. In other words, they're not really interested. They're not interested in telling you the truth as much as they're interested in getting their pockets full. So that they're advising Taurus in the 9th house to learn how to care more about the higher truths, about people. Care more about people than how you can use your status to make your pockets fat, but not helping out the people. And then the 9th house is about the Christ concept, about of harmony and wisdom. So they're saying in past lives, this person may not have worked for the Christ complex. I'm sorry, the Christ concept, but now they're being told that they should. So they said Venus is the ruler of Taurus, because remember Taurus represents that 2nd house. So you're involved with balance. So that's why he has Libra in his 2nd house. Balance, inner peace, harmony. So what they're trying to tell him in a very unique way, they're trying to tell him if he finds balance, especially in his 9th house, then he'll probably see more finances in his 2nd house. But they're also warning him if he relies on what I'm trying to tell you. See, these people are real smart and they do have like different knowledge, but these type of people try to rely on that knowledge and not facts. Like something could be facts, but what you're like when you go in court and you say I'm a Moor, and before Columbus took this place over, we ruled this and we ruled that. Therefore, I don't have to listen to you. Technically, he's right because you are kind of like a prisoner of war, or whatever you're talking about. But the bottom line is that was a long time ago, and right now God's not really liberating you people. So you're not really going to be as powerful as you think you are until God liberates you. So you might win sometime, but you're not going to win all the time. So this person has to get a reality check. And what they want to do is use that, balance the information out and use it with the Christ concept. Because the 9th house is about the Christ concept. So you want to help the people. And if you do that, then the universe is going to bless you. So that's why his 2nd house doesn't have nothing in it, because that's a word from the universe. He's got to get past the sneaky stuff, counterfeiting stuff, and all that. And not all Moors do that, but there are a lot of Moors that do stuff like that. And I'm just using them as an example. And you also have to watch out being a bully, because Taurus can tend to be a bully. you have to be able to respect other people's opinions. Now, one thing about Taurus is they're very magnetic, and people tend to follow them anyway. So if you're a Taurus and you're a teacher, you'll probably have a overall acceptance from other people than most zodiac signs. And Taurus is her true north node and her moon sign. And Taurus is his true north node. So that's why I say when I see all those similarities, I would definitely say definitely twin flame. His Juno is Sagittarius, her Juno is Sagittarius, his true north node is Taurus, her true north node is Taurus. They almost had the same placements in the same houses. So I'd definitely say like twin flame. So that's his purpose, and it's his medium Coeli. Now, wherever you see Lilith retrograde, she's really asking you to why am I here? Am I doing this for the right reason? It's really internal. All right, but we're going to look at that a little bit more. All right, I just want to do something. I want to find this. I want to find this website first about Lilith retrograde. Let me try something else. All right. So Lilith retrograde is trying to help this person deal with the fact that in the past they may have used their Taurus energy in a selfish way. And now it's kind of trying to help him meet his true north node, that horseshoe, which is his life purpose. And his life purpose is to be a teacher and to help people. Because he's got all the he's got all the qualities. Oh yeah, now on her chart, true north node, her true north node is missing the aura. Whenever you see a true north node missing the aura, and you can see her chart is all the way to the right, that means they're going to have difficulties in that house. So that's her 8th house, and she's going to have difficulties there. But that could be because of his Aries energy. It could be. But again, a lot of times, because what people don't realize, you see, you have soulmate. You have a lot of people you're going to meet in your lifetime. And they're still part of your soul family, so they're going to affect you in one way or another also. Because your true north node should definitely have an aura. That's the only item on your natal chart that should have a little auras next to it. Is your true north node. If your true north node is missing aura, that means in that house where the true north node is, you're going to have problems. Some type of problems. Some type of challenges. So internally in his ninth house, he's going to know that he's not, that in the past he didn't carry out the Lilith the way he should. He didn't carry out the Taurus the way he should have, like to use it to help people. He was using it to help himself. And that, again, in the scale, Libra, that's also about karma. And that's why it's in his second house this life. Because it's almost like the universe is saying, well, we're going to withhold money and possessions for you unless you use your Venus, Taurus, and Libra energy the correct way in this life. All right, give me a second. We're going to go back to Lilith again. All right, now we're doing Lilith in the ninth house. Their intelligence is the greatest against anyone. You will never be taken off guard. You will always be on the offense. Be careful. Even the best can be caught off guard at times. You probably will despise Sagittarius type people of the opposite sex. That's deep. Because it's funny, because where you see Sagittarius at, you see Juno, and you see Mars and whatever I said. Because almost exactly what I said about his fourth house, that's going on in her third house. And if you understand what they did, this is what I was trying to say before. See, her 12th house became her first house because of the ascendant. But that's really her 12th house. So which means her first house would really be so if you pushed it down, it would almost be closer to the fourth house. That's what I'm saying. But they just offset it. And they did that for a reason. See, if you push that first house down, what I'm saying is that third house, her third house will become the fourth house. And it would be like his, the fourth house. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So they just told you with Lilith and Sat in the ninth house, he's probably going to have a problem with Sagittarius of the opposite sex. And according to the chart, it's correct. Because that Sagittarius energy, they got the Mars there and the Saturn and all that. So she's just got to be stronger and don't let somebody bully her. All right. 10th house, Gemini, some type of communication, mental thing going on, working for the community or a brotherhood. Could be younger education, some type of creativity, communication, mental thinking. But again, it's healing for him, and Palace is going to help him see patterns, which means he's going to be really good at what he does. Now, the 11th house is supposed to be about friends, association, and groups, but that's his fourth house, because they're going to moon. So his moon sign is Aquarius, and it's also about nurturing. And her 10th house is the family. So in other words, his family is basically friends, association, and groups. So he's going to kind of like nurture them because he's going to be like a teacher. Or somehow he's going to be helping a lot of people, but they're more like friends, association, and groups. But to him, they're his family because he may not have had a really close relationship with his family. So these people are his family. And see, her Aquarius has the sun. His 11th house is ruled by Aquarius, and it has the moon. So once again, it's the yin and the yang. Now, when you see Leo in the 12th house, ultimately, it's telling you to use your Leo energy to help other people. Or if he has any Leo issues, he's got to deal with it here. So in the 12th house, he's got to deal with that Capricorn in the 5th house. And if you're going to deal with that Capricorn in the 5th house, then you're going to have to deal with that Saturn in the 4th house, which is family. The Saturn rules Capricorn. And then he may even have to deal with that Taurus in his 9th house. Let me say that again. He may have to deal with that Gemini in his 10th house, because the 10th house is ruled by Saturn and Capricorn. And Gemini is going to take him back to the 3rd house. We had that Pluto retrograde. So when we look at her chart, we're going to find out about Gemini. So it's Gemini in the 9th house ruled by Sagittarius. And in his 3rd house is Gemini. So we already explained that Gemini with twin flames is immature energy. It usually means separation. So they have to do something with the Gemini energy to make that Gemini mature, or they try to push you into, you got to be more like a Sagittarius energy. That's your higher self. That's the 9th house. So they're trying to get you to the Sagittarius energy. So he definitely has issues with that. But we stated what all of those were. He's got to deal with his past life. He's got to deal with his present life. If he has any type of family or mother issues, he's got to deal with that, because he's not going to be able to be in a real relationship with anybody if he doesn't. And see, your twin flame is opposite you. It's all about energy. So if you're not healed, there's no way they're going to heal. And when you two come together, you're going to like really detract each other. Y'all might have strong emotions towards each other, but y'all are going to detract each other and hurt each other because it's the energy. So you would have to really get healing and all that. But they would have to be getting healing too, because it's complicated. And sometimes your twin is with somebody else anyway, or they got kids by somebody. It's like real complicated. That's why I said I say it's more of a wake up call for you. The best thing you could do is see you're supposed to come running to somebody that knows what they're talking about. And they're supposed to be able to tell you what's going on and show you. But then it's up to you to make some type of commitment. I'm talking about as far as your own studies, your own learning, and your own goals. Because otherwise, like I said, at the end of the day, if you don't do it the correct way, you're no different than anybody else. They go from guy to gal, guy, all over. Because they don't want to sit down, stabilize, get some type of maturity and some type of real plan in their life and move forward. And that's essentially what it's all about. Okay, so that was that gentleman's chart on the left. And we did do the compatibility between her and him. And they do look like twin flames. And we talked about all of that. And again, all you have to do is look at the chart to your right, the 3rd chart. And you can see that whole video that's here. It was recently done, so you definitely can find it on this channel. Now we're moving on to the gentleman. What I would say is in the middle. Give me one moment. Now, again, so his first house is the first house. Once again, Leo. See how Leo just keeps popping up, and they put the EP because your AC is your ascendant. That's where the sun rose over the horizon at the moment you were born. EP is the ecliptic, where the sun went over the ecliptic at the moment of birth, but that's in the 12th house. But at least the ascendant is in the first house, so he really is a full out Leo. And we already said what a Leo is, so we're not going to keep repeating the same stuff. But Uranus, now the reason why it could, I'm not saying that it is, but the reason that it could be dangerous is because Aries energy. So it is still Mars energy. So again, this is a person that could just spur out. So you wanna be aware of that. We'll look at the number 2525 because whenever I see like unique numbers, I'll look at them. 2525, and that's going to be probably an angel message. $25.25. Give me a moment. And of course, that will break down to 7-7. Angel number 2525 suggests that it's time to make positive changes in your life and let go of old ways and doing and being that are no longer positively serving you. Release old doubts, fears, and perceived obstacles and look forward to wonderful new opportunities and adventures. Keep in mind that everything happens for a reason and nothing happens by chance, so even though the reasons for the changes you need to make may not be clear at this point, trust that all will fall into place for you. These changes have come about so you can break free from old restraints and constraints and freely pursue your soul mission and life purpose. These changes taking place in your life will bring about a more spiritual perspective and approach, and your angels ask that you stay balanced and focused during these transitions. Be open to learning from all life's experience and make the most out of each moment. All right. And Uranus will bring change, and it'll bring it suddenly. Just anything could happen. Again, that's somebody going from 0 to 100. Just have to be careful, especially with the Aries energy. So, give me a moment. All right, just give me one moment. I'm looking at a couple of things. All right, give me a second. Cause Mike Marino's from he's a comedian from Jersey, and I met him in 2003. He's a funny guy, and I keep in contact with him every now and then. So he's coming back to Jersey, and it's a couple of radio stations I was kind of recommending. I was gonna go because one's right up the street from my house. I was gonna go there because he could come in. But now I was like, nah, I better not. You know what I'm saying? It could get a little, I'm conservative now. I'm really doing me. I don't need any motivation to go back to being a Leo. I like my Capricorn. My moon sign is Capricorn. My sun sign is Leo. So Leo needs to chill right now. So I don't need to be nowhere where it's a bunch of funny guys laughing in comedy and all kind of crap. Because then the Leo's going to come out. Who knows? Now I'm at a bar. Now I'm all up. So I don't think I want to do that. But Mike really, he was saying thank you for giving him the information. I gave him the information. So he's asking me a question. So I want to answer the question. I'll be right back. So that was cool. Because Mike was always cool, like I said. But it's been a long time. I haven't seen Mike face to face since 2003. That was one of the funniest, best nights in my life. My whole family was here. It was great. But I've always been loyal to Mike Marino. Us Jersey guys got to stick together. So I made t-shirts for Mike. I made business cards for Mike. And I had a radio show. I used to DJ. Not DJ, but I used to have a talk show on Lift FM, 98.5 FM. And I had Mike, not Mike personally, but I had his one of his comedy bits on there. So I've kept in contact with him. But you know, time goes on. Time moves on. So even though he'll be like right in my neighborhood, and I just got, it's the funny thing is I just got the information. I didn't even know that radio station, they changed. And I just got their flyer today in the mail, and then he just happened to be sending an email. But that's why I tell you everything is metaphysics. See, Mike Marino, he's like the Al Capone. He's like the Italian. He's got the little comedic side. And then I'm like the Elliot Ness, the nerd, the great investigator. See how they meet again? So anyway, so he wrote me back, said thank you, and asked me how could he get on, you know. Because I already gave him the stuff. I said, just call, I'll let you on. No problem. You're doing them a favor, really. You're the big comedian. These guys are broken down one-room radio stations. Of course they want you to come on. But I didn't say that to him, of course. I'm not as daring as I used to be in 2003. Me and Mike went back-to-back in 2003. He was real witty, but he made my night because every other comedian sucked until Mike Marino came on. And he was talking that Jersey stuff, beating people with bats and things that I grew up on. Things that we hold near and dear to our heart. Because he's from Monmouth County, New Jersey, too. And so me and him went back, after this comedy bit was over, he was in the lobby, and I went back-to-back with him. But he's real witty. And I was real witty, too, because, you know, it was my birthday that night. I was a little drunk off the beer. And I was ready to go toe-to-toe with the great one. But that was a long time ago, so I don't think we should meet because, you know, I don't want to go back to my Leo days. I like my Capricorn. I love my Capricornian. All right, let's get back to the next chart. And we're going to do 30 minutes. Well, we'll see how far we get. But most likely, once I get to... We're already at like 2 hours, I think. Once I get to 2 hours and 30 minutes, I'm probably going to stop it. We're at 1 hour, 58 minutes. And then I'm going to do part 2. To y'all, it'll sound like it's the same audio. But to me, it's actually 2 different audios. Part 1 and part 2. All right. So that's the main thing. 25, 25. Now we're going to do 25 degrees Leo. And we're going to do 7 degrees Leo. But we're going to do 25 degrees Leo first. Passionate, emotional, and rebellious. And with Uranus is a big rebel. Character endowed with artistic gifts, because Leo represents the 5th house. That's a very artistic house, just like the 3rd house, very creative. Hidden forces of all sorts, such as clans, secret societies, or espionage, are the sources of numerous torments and hurdles. So this guy's carrying a lot of hidden stuff. This degree portends a danger of psychological or financial sinking. As well as physical drowning or asphyxiation. We'll look that word up. However, should the natal chart concur, one is driven by strong willpower and triumphs over obstacles and dangers coming from water. So there go that Pisces again, because she get back to me about Pisces. Once again, there's that water. One steadily and slowly builds a fortune in seafaring activities. So they say if he gets into seafaring activities, he might have a fortune. Okay, now we're going to look this word up. But Mike didn't know that was me. I wasn't going to tell him it was me, but when he wrote me back, I figured, yeah, I should tell him it's me. He's going to be, ain't you the guy that Gave me all those t-shirts. I'm like, yeah, that's me. All right. Okay, let's see if they'll tell you how to pronounce this word.
Asphyxiation. Asphyxiation.
Asphyxiation, that's how it's said. The state of being deprived of oxygen, which can result in unconsciousness or death, suffocation. But why would that happen? This degree portends like a port. It portends, but it's also like a portent, like a sign, a danger of psychological or financial sinking, as well as physical drowning or asphyxiation. So why would he drown? They're telling this dude to get into the seafaring business, but they're also telling him that you might drown. What good is making a freaking fortune if you're going to drown? You can keep your freaking money. I'm sorry, I got a little Mike Marino in me right now. I'm sorry. By the way, he's coming to Jersey. I'm sure he's been to your city or state. Uh-oh. They said rapper DMX is going back to jail. So he had a blazing and blatant tax fraud conviction. And they say they play one of the star's songs in court. It's probably like old school. Oh, man, he's a preacher, man. He's a reverend. Don't play his old music to convict him. That's so wrong. You people have no respect. That's real disrespectful. But see, they just do that. That's how the devil is. I'm not saying he's a good man, but he already told you. He told you out of his own mouth. He said, I'm always going to be like a crack addict. You know, he did a lot of stuff, but he was a real dude. I never knew about DMX till later on, but once I found out about him, I got a lot of respect for that dude because he was a real street dude. But he's trying to do the best thing. But that's how it is with the devil. All you got to do is mess up a little bit. They're going to blow it out of proportion. All right, let's get back to the reading here. So he's got some type of situation with water and fish. Now we're going to do 7 degrees Leo. Intuitive, intellectual, and sentimental character, endowed with great spiritual facilities. One has a keen interest in philosophy and esotericism. Careers in politics are involving working with fire, bring about success, fame. So it's at 7 degrees, working with fire will do it. And at 25 degrees, working with water will do it, but you got to be careful because you might end up drowning. It's funny, on one of my recent natal chart analysis, I was talking about earth, wind, and fire. Positions in government are also very, very favored, but not devoid of physical danger. Sometimes this degree describes a highly evolved soul dedicated to spiritual matters. So they're really saying he's got a choice. You can either go spiritual or you can go political, but it's very dangerous. Or if you're messing around with water, you might make money there, but there's a chance somebody might sink you, suffocate you, or choke you out. So this is some type of bold leader. All right. Now they go to Virgo again. Virgo, and that's his true north node, his life purpose. Virgo in the second house is somebody whose money, possessions, and value system is going to be connected to his home, his health, his service. So Pluto and Virgo. So the way he views money and possessions, he's going to have a detail-oriented, kind of like a critical analysis of it. Pluto in Virgo. Pluto is considered to be exalted in Pisces, but it is thought to be at its fall in Virgo. Virgo is Pluto's weakest sign position. So they say if you see Pluto in Virgo, souls born with Pluto in Virgo have been given many experiences to purge and purify egocentric self-importance and learn greater humility. See, this is why I be trying to tell you, and I was talking about Elliot Ness, but that's how he was. Because even though Capone had a lot of issues, Elliot Ness was on some self-righteous, I'm going to get you no matter what, and that's why Capone, if you ever watched the movie, Capone would just look at him like, what the fuck is your problem? Like, he would give him a look like, why do you have a hard on for taking me down? Like, don't you have anything else you could do with your life? But Elliot Ness was determined on some self-righteous, egotistic stuff to get Capone in the movie. And it all started from when he was a teenager. And he wanted to watch the movie, and Capone was all loud and shit. He wanted him to be quiet. That's why I said, if you really understand what we do, let the spirit do what the spirit does. Because I'm going to deliver, but I have to deliver the way the Spirit's showing me. Because people want you to just get to the point, and they want to overlook everything. And they wonder why their life is effed up. And then they get mad at me for telling them the truth. You've got to learn patience. You've got to learn how to breathe. You've got to learn how to believe in spirit. Everything is going to be fine. I know Twin Flames is painful. I went through it. It's still painful because every now and then she'll prank phone. I call it a prank phone call because she'll never leave her name or nothing like that. It's always some goofy stuff with her. But you got to learn how to breathe. Be thankful. Everything will work itself out. So apparently this guy had an ego problem, and apparently he may still have it. And they're kind of trying to help him see you have to get that Leo ego in check, or some bad things might happen to you. But we'll get a little bit more of Pluto on Virgo. Because that is your money house, and people need to know about their money. So Pluto in Virgo, this is always astrology.com. The other one was myastrologybook.com. Pluto in Virgo. Pluto in Virgo finds it difficult to leave things alone if they think they can improve upon it. They are very inventive. They often find their own ways to communicate. This can actually become a bit of an obsession. They are good at organizing things and sometimes get so involved with this, they lose their emotional and ethical selves in the process. Virgo Pluto is interested in health and work. They often prefer to stay in the background rather than seek the spotlight. I don't know about that, not when your ascendant is Leo. They may want to save the world. See, there goes Elliot Ness again. They are not afraid to start from the ground up to create healing for themselves, others around them, and the earth. They are content to know they did their best. Pluto and Virgo can be analytical and critical. At the same time, they fear criticism from others, because that's how Virgo is. Virgo can criticize you, but they hate to be criticized. They feel better when they are a service to mankind. They are practical and enjoy art and other visual treats. They are interested in science, technology, and healing. They like precision in all things. They may appear cynical. Virgo Pluto is modest and self-effacing. They want security but don't feel the same impulse to do whatever it takes. They may take unusual routes for healthcare, nutrition, and well-being, but it works for them. They are willing to sacrifice their own desires to serve the community at large. So there you have it. Now, We get to the third house, and then you have it again, Libra all by itself. Now the other person, same thing, but it was the second house, Libra all by itself. I've never seen no stuff like this. All right, I know it's the first time for everything. Come on, come on, come on. What am I looking for? So we already know the third house is about communications. Y'all gotta excuse me. These my glasses. I got on special glasses. You gotta adjust them, and they went out of focus, so I had to readjust them. So his third house, again, he wants a partner for communications, for intellectual thinking, for helping out in the community, for dealing with young ones in education, even for creativity. He actually wants some type of partner, or he wants it legal, like he wants it he wants contracts or whatever, possibly to get paid. Who knows? And that could also be something law. He may be saying something on law, because they said this type of person gets involved with politics or whatever. So maybe that's what it is. But it's also kind of dangerous for him. Now in the fourth house, okay, this is a soul house, like born into a soul family. It could also be a drug problem, addiction problem, obsession problem, stalking problem. That's what Neptune and Scorpio usually means. And also there was major communication problems in this house. They may even have had things not working when they should be working and stuff like that. Because that's what you get when you have Mercury retrograde and Scorpio. So all that stuff we read about Scorpio could have went on in this house. When somebody's sun sign is Scorpio, they still have the Scorpio personality, which is kind of hidden. But they can be overt. Overt means they can be more open about things they normally would keep quiet to themselves or just certain people. But with the Sun in Scorpio, they're not. They'll let some stuff known to other people. And again, Scorpio can be very suspecting. They don't trust you. Especially both Neptune and Scorpio are very suspicious. They're not going to trust you. Like if they have to figure out what happens, it's going to be usually negative. So if something happened that's positive and they don't know what it was and they got to figure it out, they're probably going to see negative even if it's not there. And the funny thing about Neptune could be real idealistic as well too. So that all went on in the fourth house of family, education, teenage education to adult education, land and property, real estate, family and ancestors, the heart, vehicle or travel, the imum coeli, mother and the subconscious. Now here you have fifth, but this is going to be a highly psychic person because now you got a Leo, the fifth house of Sagittarius in the fifth house. So again, that's a person that can not only they're not only in communication with say their twin and other people, subconscious mind, dream state. They're the world in general and also above out in space. Whenever you see like Neptune and Leo and Scorpio, these are highly psychic people, highly in tune, not just with local or with their twin flame or twin soul, but they're in tune with everything, seeing premonitions and stuff like that. But like whenever it's a Scorpio, Scorpio has to train itself because if their tendency is to think negative or be suspicious, you got to be careful because that may come across in your readings, and you're going to be given fake readings based on your own doubt and your own suspicions. So you got to learn how to defeat that. All right, so their fifth house, now fun for them is anything long distance, anything with the arts, anything that's foreign. That's fun for them. Foreign travel, foreign overseas, being on the internet, Anything that's foreign, that's what they like. Even, debates, religion, philosophy. Sagittarius still deals with in-laws, higher courts, higher higher laws. But there's love there as well, so they love to go. And Venus is all about art too. So this person really likes the arts and stuff. Now look, both that vertex, that cross, and Juno. Juno means you might find yourself in a serious relationship with anybody of a Leo Sagittarius energy. And the vertex means you may find yourself in a soulmate relationship, twin soul relationship, or you may have some type of significant event, or even makeup or breakup. All right. So once again, we're gonna follow that Leo, and we're gonna follow that Sagittarius. And her, see, they all got Juno. If I'm not mistaken, that's why I said that's why this gets so hard, because they all got Juno in Sagittarius. So I'm gonna tell you. So already, it's at least 4 charts you need to look at if you're gonna understand these 4 people. These 3 people, but it's a 4th, because you can only have one twin soul. Otherwise, it wouldn't be called a twin soul. It'd be like tri-soul or some junk like that. Oh, that's my tri-soul. This one drives me crazy from Monday to Wednesday. And this one drives me crazy from Thursday to Saturday. Then we all take a break on Sunday and pray for help. And then we start all over again. That's a tri-soul. Same soul in 3 different bodies. I love this life. You better have a sense of humor. See, I still got my Leo as far as laughing, because without that I'd be crazy. Well, I'm crazy anyway, but hey. Necessary for this planet. All right. Now, you got to excuse me. My Mike Marino's he's back. He brings out the worst in me. That's why I can't see that guy. Us Jersey guys, we got to stick together. All right. So now so it's definitely some Sagittarius. But see what I think, which you guys might want to hear. But see, what do they all have in common? They all have Juno in Sagittarius. See, they may be connected to the Sagittarius constellation. And that's what I mean by families and soul families and stuff. See, a lot of people think like Scorpio is the underworld, and they think it's just one location. But I don't know. I think the planets are like anything under our solar system. I think it's all connected. So we try to take like Scorpio and see it in one place, one location. But I don't believe that. I believe it's wherever God put it. So you can have Scorpio in the Sagittarius. You can have Scorpio in the Sirius star system. You can have Scorpio in the Leo constellation. And Sherry Shriner, they say she died, but she used to try to tell you stuff like that. She said if you go inside the earth, you could actually be. I forget what she said. You didn't know. So in other words, we think if we go inside the earth, we're still inside the earth, but we're just inside the earth. But she said no. If you went inside the earth, you could be inside the earth, but you would also be in other places in the solar system. I believe stuff like that. Just looking at natal charts all the time, because all 3 of these have some type of connection to Sagittarius. The Sagittarius constellation. Now his is all about love though. Now theirs is all about drama. Mars and Saturn and all kind of crazy stuff. So his fifth house is like really loving and happy. So he's gonna love to have fun and romantic. And his ascendant is Leo, because that's really what Leo wants. And because he's got Uranus, like he's the type that could really give a female a good date. Because he'll come out of nowhere with something just to surprise her and stuff. So that's like his best house so far has been that house. But unfortunately, see, let's understand Juno. Juno wants a serious relationship. And it could happen, but it's not guaranteed. But as you see, Juno's trying to get into like Virgo, which is more healing. And then he has Jupiter right there. And Saturn. And Vesta, which is still Virgo energy. Vesta is Virgo energy. See, he's like opposite them. Like the stuff that really makes their life dramatic, it actually makes his life good. Because Saturn and Capricorn actually ain't great. He's even making money. Because he's taken healing and turned it into a business. That's Capricorn. And he's made a good reputation. And he's made money. And he's got Pallas helping him with all the little details. And Virgo's all about details anyway. Pallas is about patterns. So if he was smart, he would avoid that Leo energy. And he would forget about politics, because somebody's going to try to kill his ass. They trying to bury him underwater. And he would deal more with his Virgo energy. And the only time he would use his Leo energy is areas of fun and travel and romance and that special someone who we don't know who that is yet. That's chart number 4. So then we go to chart number 7, which is Aquarius, and see he has trouble healing in Aquarius. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's she has Leo. Aquarius is in her 5th house or a Leo. And she's got that Juno in the 6th house. I mean, a Jupiter in the 6th house. So he's got Jupiter in the 6th house too. That's kind of like when you see a person in they have 2 lovers, and they go like, everything. I want to be with guy number A, but he could be a little mean, he could be a little blunt or insensitive, and everything he doesn't do, guy number B does. See, you can see that on a natal chart, because these 2 are connected too, but it's definitely soul. This is definitely a soulmate, not a twin soul. But he's not, like, he's using the same energy, Saturn and Capricorn, as that other guy, but his is more like healing and shit like that. Whereas that other guy, his energy is more like domineering. The guy to the left, but the guy to the middle, the middle guy, he's more, once you get over here. But he's got a little side you got to be careful of too. But once you got into the 5th house of fun and romance and stuff, he's pretty cool. And 6th house is about healing. And so in his 7th house, but there is some type of Aquarius, something that happened with Aquarius energy that he's not healing from. And see, even in her 11th house, there goes Leo, because the 11th house is Aquarius. So they definitely got a soulmate relationship. But I think it's a different person. Like I'm saying, it's probably a person in his life, or will be in his life, that has Sagittarius energy and Aquarius energy. So his 7th house has nurturing with that curious. And we're going to do good fortune. Give me a second. Good fortune, 7th house. So he was born soon after a full moon. So now we can check something out. We're just going to check this out. Give me a second. Bear with me. It's going to take me, I'm just letting you know right now because I got to put my paperwork up. Give me a second. And I got all these windows open that I really don't need open. I don't think, do I? Maybe I do. We'll get rid of this one. And I just got to think. All right. Get out of here. From my moon. I think I got it. I have it. Be patient with me. I'm just checking a couple of things out that need to be checked out. All right. Now, oh yeah, it would probably check out anyway. But just let me find it. Because I'm trying to do a billion things. Alright. Yep. I just put a birthday in and then they say exactly a full moon. It was exactly a full moon when he was born. Now what I want to do though, I want to go to the month for that just to make sure. Now we're going to put it in again. Yep. He was born on a full moon. Let me see. Wait a minute. Yeah, he was born on a full moon. So what I'm trying to tell you, this full moon is coming. On the 31st, I think it is, right before Easter. It's going to affect him. So that was amazing. He was born on a full moon. So let me see what good fortune says. Give me a second. I gotta find it again. He is a person who is so idealistic that he wants to see only the best in everything. And that's why he's real good in romance, because he's idealistic. In every person, in every situation, even in every problem. But that's how he gets himself killed, though. See, that's why I said if y'all will let me talk when I'm talking, this is spirit stuff. That's why they're talking about Capone. Because Capone was a murderer. If you got in his way, you were out of the way. And they just said this guy, he could actually die, actually be murdered. He is seeking personal illumination. And they already said that about his first house. Like he'll see a lot of people that become Freemasons, they don't become Freemasons and stuff to take over the world and kill and lie to you. They actually think they're making the world better. And they already say he would get involved with anything he thought, that would help improve or whatever. He would like to know his purpose in life. Well, I'm right here and I'm a Leo. Hi, my name is Gary and I'm a Leo. Float on. Any of y'all know that song? Any of you old ass people? Any of you old ass people know float on, girl. I know I can't sing. Now listen, just check it out. It's on YouTube. Float on. He would like to know his purpose in life. His personality shines through his relationships and partnerships, which we're seeing. The good fortune in the 7th house might lead to partnerships with wealthy people. All right. That was good. Now we want good fortune in Aquarius. Idealistic, innovative, and unique. The person with the good fortune in Aquarius will find his happiness and success by making a contribution or an invention that is of benefit to all. And he carries that into his relationship. See, we told you. We told you in his second house. See, when he does stuff, he's doing it for a social reason to help people, but he wants somebody in his life to share it with. And usually when people do this, a lot of times they be pissed off because they be like, "Oh, why can't that be my twin?" See, because where we live, it don't work like that, baby. Check out Mechalesi. We're in a quarantine. It usually don't work. Sometimes it do. Some people get it, but usually you're going through some challenges on this planet. But I done got used to it. That's why I got that sick sense of humor now. All right. So there you go. And this is a highly psychic person. I told you how. Pisces in the 8th house, so highly psychic person. Unbelievably psychic. And his 9th house higher self. Again, so he has Aries aggression, but and Aries can be real fortunate too. And Aries is a beginning as well. So when it comes to learning and higher knowledge and learning the world around him and stuff like that, he's eager. He's Aries for it. And Aries, he's got the Leo energy, which is very bold. Not wanting to not to step down, want to move forward. Like when you used to watch Star Trek, in the beginning they would say space, and they start talking, but they were going deep into space no matter what, and nothing was going to stop them. And Captain Kirk was like that, and so was Captain Picard. So he's kind of like that. He wants to go, and he really believes he's idealistic, and he believes it's going to make him better and make his life better, and if he falls in love, make them better and make the family better. But he got to be careful because he could get killed. And it's kind of funny how they said Pisces, like water is going to kill him, and Pisces is in his 8th house because that's that deep knowledge. See, sometimes you got to watch going into whatever, especially like signs like Cancer, like any water sign really, but Cancer, but like water signs going into the 8th house, you got to be careful because you can get possessed. And anything, when they be talking about sleep paralysis and all that, a lot of times because you're opening up portals. That's why I be telling people to be very careful. And another thing, if you ever want to get into the unknown, talk to somebody who does it so you can know what to do and what not to do. And also, some of that information you might even find YouTube videos. But don't just go jumping, because especially my moon sign is Cancer, and I had some bad experiences. But you don't Cancer, any water sign going into the deeper knowledge and hidden knowledge and stuff, you got to be real careful. So that's his moon sign, Aries. Aries deals with the internal, the hidden, the more feminine energies. But he really wants to know the world. That's what you're seeing in his 9th house. He really wants to know the world. Okay, how much time? Where am I at? Okay, not too bad. 2 minutes, 2 hours and 30-something seconds for this. Not bad. All right, now his 10th house takes you to Taurus. Now I want to just look around. I want to look at that other gentleman's chart as well. And his 9th house was Taurus, but he has medium Coeli in it. But that's also his true north node, though. So again, let's look on her chart. And that's her true north node. So that's his 10th house. And that's where his medium Coeli is. Because medium Coeli is part of his life purpose. And that's where his true north node is. So let's find his true north node. Okay, going back to Virgo. So he's a real earthy person. So we keep talking about Virgo, and that's the Mother Mary again. And the moon sign is Mother Mary too. And remember, both the males time of birth was picked by the angels. So whenever that's done, it could be appropriate, but we always double check it. We always try to make sure, because that's going to affect the reading as well. So again, Taurus in the 10th house, so he is going to be interested in finances and possessions and his value system. And plus your 10th house is still going to be about your career and your reputation. So he is going to value his career and reputation. But that could be in a good way. And again, just have to watch being a bully or being stubborn. But he seems to make money because Capricorn rules the 10th house, and where Capricorn is, you see Jupiter. But as long as, so what the universe is saying is, as long as he stays healing people and helping the brotherhood around him, society around him, the community around him, he'll have finances. So that's like his Libra or his karma, because Saturn is karma too, healing, and that's why Pluto is karma too. So in this life, he really has to be a healer, because in a previous life, it seemed like he was kind of aggressive. And maybe that's why he ended up getting killed. But overall, it looks like pretty much he's pretty good in this life. But he's got to watch his family issues, find out what's going on there. And if there's any drugs and all that, he's got to, repent. A lot of people think they need drugs to understand deeper knowledge and hidden knowledge, but it's kind of dangerous. Because like I said, you're messing around with drugs and you're a water sign and you're going into the unknown, you're probably going to get possessed, or you're going to open up portals, and once you open up them portals, it's hard to get rid of those things. So you got to know this. And finally, 12th house, once again, water sign in the 12th house, and Pisces is a water sign, but it's still highly psychic, highly intuitive. But once again, you got to deal with that Mars, Jupiter. So he definitely has some type of Aries, motherly, warring stuff going on. Because you see Aries with the moon, and then you see Mars, who rules Aries, in Cancer, but the moon rules Cancer. So he's got some type of 4th house, family, ancestors, teenage adult education, land and property, real estate, the heart, vehicles, and possibly travel. And the mother, I Moon Quelli, the moon in Cancer, he's got some issues. He's definitely got some other issues there. So he's got to deal with that. He's got to come to grips with that in his 12th house. And he's got to get rid of that Mars, Aries aggression, because it's there. And Lilith is also the moon. She's the black moon. All right. So that's what he's got to do in the 12th house. At the end of the day, your 12th house is all about reckoning, going into your subconscious mind, going into your dreams. Whatever you have hidden, you have to deal with it. You can't just stuff it under the closet. You can't stuff it under the rug. You have to reckon with it, deal with it, because that's how you can move on. But the 12th house does deal with anything dark, really anything in the 8th house. Prostitution, animals, drunkenness, buildings, churches, hospitals, police stations, mental wards. If I didn't say church, any type of building. And it's also isolation, because sometimes you have to get along with yourself to get healing sometimes. And sometimes you can get arrested, and then that's going to be isolation to a certain degree. Now they're really bringing home that 26. And I see the number 16 there too. We're going to look at 26 degrees Cancer, and then 16 degrees Cancer, and then we're going to look at Lilith. And then that house is also about service. So to people. So if he was serving people, whether in a church or serving people, he still can't allow himself to be used as a doormat. And see, Lilith, she takes things real personal, and she keeps it internal. So you got to be careful of Lilith, because Lilith can get upset. Like, a person might help you out a lot, but then Lilith feels like you're taking advantage of them, because they're like, this person's always taking advantage of me. But they'll never tell you. But they're walking around, so he's got to make sure he doesn't do that. Okay, 26 degrees Cancer, intelligent, obliging, and docile character. Under the guidance of a good employer or a mentor, one's perseverance, helpfulness, and flexibility prove to be formidable assets for success. This degree often describes patient and devoted servants. If the natal chart concurs, one may land a high-ranking job in the administration of the government. And they keep kind of saying that about him. But let's just hope it doesn't get him killed. And when you keep seeing Mars or stuff, like really anything like Mars, Pluto, it could have stuff to do with military. But even Uranus, that could have to do with higher sciences within the government, because the government does use a lot of higher science, and that would be like Uranus. All right, 16 degrees Cancer. Nervous, sensual, passionate character. One is endowed with excellent pioneering and leadership skills. One achieves outstanding success in one's country and abroad. Careers in science, the arts, or religion are very favored, as well as efforts to carry out reforms. And again, trying to carry out those reforms might make enemies. Excessive compassion may prompt to show generosity towards people who do not deserve it. And see, Lilith don't go for that. Like Lilith don't want you. Lilith wants to be respected. She don't want to ever feel like she's taken advantage of. That's why she left the Garden of Eden, according to the myth. She felt disrespected, and Lilith is not somebody you want to piss off. All right. So we're going back to Lilith again. Give me one moment, please. Lilith houses. Let's check it out. I don't know if I want to use you, sir. I'm not sure. Lilith in the 12th house. You find it hard to protect yourself from anyone, let alone yourself. Will constantly send anger inward. That's why I said she'll send anger inward, to the point that your mind often feels callous. You probably will despise Pisces type people of the opposite sex. And that's because this one was asking about Pisces. The person that requested this reading was asking about Pisces. All right, so just give me a second, because I got all these, because it was real hard to find anything on Lilith. So what I did, anything I found, I saved it. What I want to do is just look through it so I can get the best interpretation of this house. Lilith in Cancer urges you to create domestic and family peace. And that's what I said. That's true. Because we could see it. The 12th house means you got to reckon with this. You like to meet many people in your home in order to have expanded meals with them, whereby you take part in discussions very emotionally and with psychological knowledge. In family matters, you are inclined not to recognize things or situations correctly. Well, he's got that Mercury retrograde there as well. Or you don't want to admit situations and circumstances because you get enticed by unrealistic opinions very easily. Or he just might not want to talk about what really happened. Lilith in the 12th house. This creates an urge for illusions, fantasies, and intoxicating ecstasy, altruism conditions. But again, you have to be careful because, especially like a lion, because his ascendant is a Leo. See, Leos mean well, and they go out, they want to help everybody. They want to be all good and everything. But then they start to see people are not as eager to give back. People are not as eager to help out as they are. So with Lilith will start to take that personal. And it'll go internal, which is, could be dangerous. They say this person may be susceptible to drugs. Again, we're going back to the 4th house family. Things that make you feel high. So they got to, don't mess up your good motives by going into drugs and hiding and stuff. Plus, you got to be careful because you're dealing with water signs in Scorpio or the 8th house, and you can get possessed. So you really want to be very careful. But they say these people can be very creative and inspirational. But they can vary between sociableness and isolation. Because that's, again, Lilith. But see, the bottom line, the 12th house is supposed to be isolation as long as you're reflecting on what you need to heal and healing yourself. But they're telling you don't let other people run over top of you, and don't help out so much that you're hurting yourself. So you still have to tell people no in the 12th house. That's what I tell everybody. The 12th house might be about service to other people and all that, it's meeting your karma, but you can't let people run over top of you. And you got to have your own personality, because the tendency is to care so much about other people that you let your own needs go down. So don't let that happen in the 12th house. So this concludes, okay, chart on the left is a high probability that is her twin soul. Chart on the right, the chart in the middle, the high probability that is a soul mate, but not a twin soul. And I already explained what the difference was between the two. We got a lot of sales going on this website, on this YouTube channel. We do a little bit of everything. Do not be afraid to ask. We always trying to give sales. We're trying to encourage people to do it the way the universe told you to do it. Get the natal chart. Keep it updated. Keep your checkout. Check out on your own weekly readings. You could do that on your own. Just think, but you got to keep up to date because this universe is always changing. And there's going to be more changes in just a matter of 2 or 3 days with that next full moon. So you got to really keep up on this and find out really what's going on so that you'll deal with it better. Because if you just deal with it emotionally, you're defeating yourself. You got to get to the point where you deal with it, balance out the emotions and the mental, the mind. And you got to realize it's bigger than you. All this comes from God. That's why she's asking me about God, Jesus, Pisces, Mother Mary. That's the divine feminine. Jesus represents the divine masculine, the sun and the moon. When you learn the metaphysics, you stop tripping out. You stop overreacting to just emotions, because everything that's happening in your life is happening for a reason. But you can't be afraid to learn the truth about the planet you're on, the history of the planet, and what's really running this planet and everything that's going on. So once again, thank all these ministries out here like Mekalesi, especially old school Mekalesi. If you don't know what her old school channel is, try to find out, because that's when she really told you what was going on. That's like about 2011, 2012. She told it all. There's a lot of people out here trying to wake you up. There's more to this life than just waking up, finding love, and going to work and having children, or walking around on the beach holding hands. All that's wonderful, but you better find out why the moon hangs in the space, and why does everything travel across space, and why does it affect us, and all that. You need to learn that too. And now with modern technology and YouTube and everything, it doesn't take that long to find this stuff out. But the faster you find out why you're really here, the better off you'll be. You'll stop being scared. You'll stop being worried. And if you've been hurt by love and all that, you'll start to wake up and give love a chance. Again, why? Because love starts with you. You may have been hurt by love because you didn't love yourself first. There's a lot of reasons why people get hurt by love. So you got to learn. So that's all I'm doing out here. So if people perceive it a different way, they're taking things out of context. See, I might say 10 things, but somebody might take number 2. Oh, I don't like him because I don't like his tone. But you're not listening to the other 9 things I said. So that's a little immature. So that type of person is going to keep running. You got to stop running, stand up, and get the healing you need. God bless.